Hello, everybody, and welcome to our RPO podcast. Today, what I'd like to do is introduce my future co-host, Ian Clayton. So today's going to happen in the form of an interview where we're going to find out all about Ian. But just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm Cherie Concannon, and I am the founder of RPO. And RPO is a mixture of three fairly important things: process, engineering, and emotional intelligence. Now, that's a really unusual mix, and we apply this specifically to the human assets in manufacturing plants. In other words, to the shop floor. RPO is a bottom-up program that is designed to dramatically improve efficiency and productivity levels of the human beings that work within manufacturing. And in this podcast and going forward, what we want to try and do is introduce you to some of the characters we have in our RPO community and to explain the dramatic impact and the benefits that RPO can have. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my future fellow co-host, Ian Clayton. And I'm going to ask Ian to start off by telling us about his history and in manufacturing, and how he comes to be part of the RPO team. So over to you, Ian. Good morning. Tell us about your career.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name's Ian Clayton. My career going back to when I left school. So I did an engineering apprenticeship at a very large manufacturing company based in Leeds in Yorkshire. Having successfully completed my apprenticeship, I got a bit of an itchy feet and decided that I wanted to broaden my horizons. So I took the huge step of moving about 800 metres across a busy main road in Leeds, and I joined a company that manufactured subsea oil valves. This is all around the time that when Piper Alpha blew up. So at that point, my aspirations were to become a service engineer, servicing out on the oil platforms. But post the Piper Alpha, let's say I got a little bit windy and I decided that wasn't the industry for me.
Okay.
At the same time, there was a greenfield packaging company that was being built in Wakefield. Looking at the adverts, it looked a fantastic opportunities and prospects. So I went there to see how it went. 30 years later, I'd moved from Yorkshire down to Milton Keynes. I'd moved off the shop floor engineering roles into supervisory positions, shift manager positions. I became a full-time trained and certified Six Sigma black belt. And at that point, one of our sister plants down south was encountering issues. So I got seconded down there to help them out, and I never came back. So when I got down there, I became the quality manager, the engineering manager, the production manager, and then eventually the plant manager.
Okay.
And that's really where the story of RPO kicks in.
Can I let me tell everyone how we met. So I was delivering part of an international leadership program for the company that Ian was working for. And in those days, they used to spend a lot of money on these programs. And this particular one was in Istanbul. And it was absolutely beautiful. I had 12 delegates on this program, only one British delegate. All the other were from the European plants. And it was Mr. Clayton. And I had been warned prior to going to Istanbul that Mr. Clayton was going to be a hard nut to crack, because apparently he wasn't a big fan of development and training, particularly on the what he referred to as the softer skills. And I was told that he was the one to win over. And if I could win over him, then I could win over everybody, or anybody, not everybody, anybody. Anyway, cut a long story short, we got on like a house on fire, didn't we? And I remember we got on very well. I came back, or we both came back to the UK, and it was about 3 weeks later, because you'd been fairly newly appointed to plant director, hadn't you, at Milton Keynes? And I think it was about 3 weeks later, sometime later, Ian messaged me and said, I need some help. So I went down to Milton Keynes to meet with him. And I think that's where we need to pick up the story, Ian. And what I'd like listeners to do is to really listen to this story that Ian's going to tell you, because although this was in 2010, I think that there are a lot of manufacturing sites with still very, very similar issues facing them. And RPO is designed to crack, if you like, and change this type of culture, or any culture that is resistant and slow. So back over to you, Ian. Tell us what the challenges were that you faced.
Okay, once I'd got over the euphoria of being promoted up to the site director of a site that had got a very, very challenging reputation that I wanted to try and rectify and get back on the rails. When I'm talking about challenging reputation, it was known as a very strong union-orientated plant. It wasn't known for its openness and ability to adapt to change easily, and it had a very long-serving, experienced workforce. However, that came with it is that there was definitely an underlying reluctance to modern manufacturing and management techniques. So that's really the site's culture in a nutshell. So what happened is, during the transition of me taking over the site, we had our first online global engagement survey, and we probably didn't give it the seriousness that, in hindsight, it warranted. When the results came out, there was some not nice feedback in it, all about leadership. So there was a lack of leadership within the site, a lack of trust for the leadership within the site, very poor communications coming from leadership, and generally a feeling that the leadership weren't fulfilling a role.
What kind of scores did you get in that engagement survey?
Oh, everything was towards the bottom. I mean, when I say global engagement survey, bear in mind it was a global packaging company. We were operating in North America, South America, Europe, and in Russia. And my site was part of the European and Russia sector. Yep. So we were 1 out of 27 plants, and overall we came within the bottom 3.
Okay.
What that means is, no, there's certainly no trophies handed out for being in the bottom 3. What actually happens is you get a huge amount of focus and a huge amount of spotlight on you. And before you know where you are, you're pressured immensely to be coming up with action plans, improvement plans, and basically...
What about the plant performance though, Ian? What was that like at the time? I mean, did that low engagement level correspond with low plant performance?
Yeah, it did. The plant, because of its age and the complexity, it was a plant that was known for the amount of changeovers and size conversions that we did. He's still there.
Yeah.
Oh God, you've gone. I've gone back onto my emails. Just hang on a sec. Right, you're back. Okay. Yeah, it was a plant that we're known for its complexity, and within that there became, I wouldn't say poor performance, but low performance regarding efficiency and wastage.
Right.
And evidently the engagement levels were very low based upon the feedback.
Okay, and you mentioned that you had a highly skilled workforce and a mature workforce. How was their attitude towards multi-skilling, moving areas? What were their level of flexibility like?
No, very low, and that's really driven through the union within the plant, because they didn't want people floating into different roles, and there was also a reluctance because of the dare I say, the age profile of the workforce. They were very content doing what they did every day to the same standard every day.
Right. Okay.
So I got the feedback, and obviously I was shocked. I pulled a senior team meeting, shared the feedback, and the wind was knocked out of our sails. Because when you start seeing feedback about leadership, instantly you take it personal. We didn't think that we were operating in the descriptions based within the feedback. So I thought, we've got a serious issue here. And driven by the trust comment, that's when I called on you, Cherie, because we'd worked together, you'd done some coaching for me, you'd sort of helped develop me into my final position in the organisation. And I wanted that sort of external view as to what the feedback actually meant. So based upon that, if you recall, you pulled focus groups together, you got shop floor people, you put the comments up, and then you came to me to explain that the term leadership was actually referring to their line managers, which in our case were the team leaders. So one, personally, I felt a real sigh of relief that it weren't pointed at me and my direct team, but underlying we still had a very, very serious issue.
Yeah.
So from that point, me and you sat down, we devised a plan, albeit it was a very fluid plan, but the initial stages were to give feedback to the team leaders. They went through exact same emotions as what me and my senior team did, so I could really empathise with how they were feeling and accepting the feedback. However, it is what it is. They dusted themselves off, as I would like to use a phrase, based upon your coaching skills. And then we embarked on building up the confidence of the team leaders, giving them the tools and techniques, so training them in people management, so positive, constructive feedback, as and where appropriate, dealing with underperformance, and basically trying to create a more transparent operating place between the team leaders and their teams.
Yeah.
We didn't call it RPO.
No, not at the time.
Basically, just helping me get my team leaders back on track.
Yep.
And what happened is we went through some one-to-ones with the team leaders, regular one-to-ones, if I recall. I think there were 3 monthly.
It's quite a long time ago, isn't it now?
Yeah, but the team leaders sat down and gave their teams positive feedback about what they liked doing, what they wanted to continue doing. They also included things about perhaps you could change the way that you do X, Y, Z, and then this would all be reviewed. And it was two-way. The individuals would give feedback on the team leaders. And again, it was very much in the same, I want you to do more of, and I'd really like you, maybe if you could stop doing A, B, C. And before we knew where we were, we ended up having very, very harmonious teams, but besides the harmony, we started to see an increase in the performance of the teams. So I think the following 2 years, we did another.
2013, I think you had another survey, didn't you?
Okay, so 3 years later, we had another online survey. And understandably, we were not looking forward to the results. There was a few sweaty palms when the results actually came through. But unjustified, because we ended up coming in the top 3 out of our sector. We got a global achievement recognition for the most improved site, so we got a fantastic trophy to be able to put in our reception area in a display cabinet. But we weren't off the hook, because what happens there is you've got to continue doing it. And we just went from strength to strength. What I saw blossom in front of my eyes were a group of team leaders that were actually delivering a frontline manager's role. And that wasn't easy, because along this journey, I mentioned that we were a heavily unionised plant. For my good luck, I just happened to have 5 team leaders that happened all to be shop stewards. So when I say all shop stewards, my union committee was 4 shop stewards and 1 senior convener. They were all shop stewards. They were all team leaders. So they weren't exactly jumping through hoops about the changes that we were striving to achieve. In their eyes, we were asking shop floor, hourly paid employees to do what managers should already be doing. So we had a bit of a challenge, but over time, these very experienced people left us, they retired, and we recruited team leaders with a more open attitude and a more can-do. And also they'd had an inkling into the direction where we were going. Yeah. So I ended up with a real strong bunch of team leaders. So much so, we started running events, part of their personal development. I would put them in front of an audience and encourage them, with Cherie's assistance, to talk about their journey, what they'd achieved, and it was just fantastic. Some of the guys and gals got promotions into management positions out of it. Yeah. In 2015, the plant was performing superbly. So much so, we got awarded the Plant of the Year. Yep. Now, this is no mean feat to get that. We went against the 27 plants. So we were a plant that were 40 years old. And with that, you'd got aged equipment, probably not ideal processes, but we got it. We came best of the best. Yeah,
you had the people. I remember it well. It was a great journey. And this, I wanted everyone to hear, to start off with, you know, the journey of RPO, because what happened, I just went in really to help you, didn't I? That was the thing. There was no intention to build RPO out of it. And as you said, it wasn't even called RPO at the time. I started to put things together all around the leadership side. It was up to Ian to handle the process and the engineering. That's not my bag. My bag is human beings and their performance. And but Ian and I worked very well together. So I left that side of it to him, and I started to put together all sorts of programs and ideas that I could use to build up this team of team leaders. Because what I realized is that to actually get a shop floor to perform really well, and when I say perform well, you know, I'm talking about them having a very versatile, flexible attitude, being what I call agile and progressive, you know, wanting to multi-skill, wanting to work in any area, and really wanting to perform and understanding how their individual KPIs link to the plant KPIs. We put together all sorts of things. We started to create our We Matter performance management process, which over the years now has developed such that we've invested in our own software for it. And I think, you know, it's been a great journey, and I have put RPO into so many different factories now with amazing success. But we've changed it hugely. It's very, very different to what we did with you. The principles are all the same. And we've broken it into two parts now, haven't we? Because one of the things I've realized is that, because I have had some failures with it, and I've realized that in order to optimize the success of an RPO, what I need to do is really, really understand a manufacturing site. So we've divided it into two phases now, haven't we? And we've got what we call our PPBA, which is our People Performance Benchmark Assessment, where it's a 10-week program. And inherent in this assessment is also coaching for the existing shop floor management team, which is the team leaders. And we do a complete evaluation of all of the production staff and all of the production management. And then at the end of that, we can tell a manufacturer what they need to do in a site with regard to the people in order to absolutely optimize performance. And that can be a number of things. It could be very similar to what we did in your plant all those years ago, or it could be a number of other things that we've now learned also work. But the objective is always the same, and that is to increase the productivity, the efficiency, all of the top line KPIs, to perform well against them. And what I love about the end of this story, Ian, is that you took early retirement last year. And I was going to say, guess who was the first person you called? I may not have been the first person you called, but I like to think that I was. No, so you took early retirement last year. So what made you want to join us with RPO? What was it that made you want to join us? Because you're a hardcore Lean Six Sigma black belt engineering guy. You know, I've worked with you for a long time. What made you want to come and join this business?
I'd worked within a very stressful manufacturing business for 30 years. And I was at a time in life where I could. So I just thought, right, okay, it's all about timing. I'm going to step out of it. However, I still had things and value that I could offer to others. Without blowing my own trumpet, I'd got a wealth of management experience, I'd got lean experience, I'd got engineering experience, because I'd lived and breathed these roles independently. So that's when we had a conversation, and that's when we decided to sort of do it in like a dual side of things. As you said, on the emotional aspects, I'm more of the manufacturing and engineering side of the things.
Yeah.
So I loved last year. Absolutely fantastic. It gave me the opportunity to go into different businesses that I'd not been in previously. And it was like a breath of fresh air, because not every business has got the levels of sophistication of what we're used to. And what I mean by that is the electronic systems, the measurement systems, the data analysis capability. And I could share some of my experiences and successes with the clients, and they embraced it wholeheartedly. And as a consequence of that, we were able to put better systems in place. We put greater clarity to the KPIs. We ensured that when the people that directly influenced the KPIs were coming into work, that they knew exactly why they were coming into work and what they were striving to achieve on a day-by-day basis. But more importantly, with the aid of visual management systems, there was no ambiguity about how the sites were doing. So they could see whether they were declining, operating flat, or in most cases, starting to see an improvement. Bottom line improvements as well.
No, it's great. It's been a great first year, and we've got a fantastic team now. We've got Ian on the manufacturing side. We've got me. I do all of the people development element of it. We've got Luke on the technical side. We've got Andy on the commercial side. We've got Marsha, who coordinates the whole thing, and we're along with Becky. So we've got a really cracking team now. And we've got some really exciting projects coming up in the next few months as well. We've got 3 new RPOs about to start in the next. We've got automotive, we've got sensors, and we've got pressure sensitive adhesive tape. And interestingly, although Ian we call him our manufacturing guy, you actually also are what we call our We Matter coach. We Matter is a process as part of the program, and it is a performance management process. There's software attached to it. Ian actually coaches our team leaders in the use of We Matter and basically how to apply it. And he also, if we need, provides lean awareness training as well. And the relationship's working really well. So we're very, very excited about the year coming up. Besides those 3 new ones, we're in discussions with about 3 more. I'm learning a lot about a lot of different things. But what I find is that people are people. And although, some of us believe machines will take over the world one day, they haven't yet. We still need the people. And I constantly hear in my meetings that, we've done everything. We've looked at process improvement. We've looked at our equipment improvement. We've invested. But our people are what we need to really move forward. So we are excited, aren't we, Ian? It's going to be a great journey. And what Ian and I intend to do is we intend to put forward or provide you with a regular podcast. It's not just going to be me and Ian. We're going to have guests. So we're going to have other plant managers from different RPO plants. We will get team leaders. We're going to have all sorts of experts, interesting people from the world of manufacturing. And we will be doing this once a month. So if you've listened all the way through to this bit, I'd like to thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank Ian. And I hope you're looking forward to being my co-host, Ian.
I certainly am.
Oh, brilliant. All right, guys. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. And thanks very much for listening. Look forward to speaking to you next time.